Hey, what's going on, guys? Something different today. We're doing potential ratings on FIFA. It's something I've been wanting to do, so we're going to go through each team. We're going to go through the squad and decide, well, I'm going to say, like, my opinion. You can let me know in the comments if you think it's different, but as you can tell on the screen, we're going to start off with Liverpool, and we're going to say, like, what their potential ratings for FIFA 17 is going to be. Whether I've given them an upgrade, downgrade, or kept them the same. So I've started off with Karius. He had a great season in the Bundesliga. Obviously got voted into the team of the season for FIFA. So that shows that he was a very, very good keeper last season. I've seen a few highlights. He's been making a lot of good saves. So I've gave him an upgrade of 2. He was originally a 79 rated player. I've turned him into an 81 for Liverpool. I haven't edited any of the stats. We are just talking about the actual rating themselves. So moving on to Klein, he also gets an upgrade, just solely because I think he's had a strong season for Liverpool, first season, and he's done alright. He goes up by 2 for me as well. Next up is Dejan Lovren, another player gaining an upgrade, only by 1 though. He was a 79 and he moves to an 80 card. Obviously, he goes from a non-rare to a rare. I think, he had a poor first half of the season. Obviously, he wasn't playing under Rodgers, wasn't getting involved, and then Klopp took over and he changed him. Lovren became a better player because of it, and I think he'd become a strong centre-back for us in the end. Him and Sacco ended up forging a good partnership. He wasn't really like first choice, as I say, so that's why he's only got a 1 upgrade rating. It could have been nothing, really. I'm thinking being probably a bit generous, but I've went with it. Next up is Sacco. He actually stays the same for me. I've decided not to give him an upgrade at all, just solely because obviously he's been involved in the drug scandal. That usually doesn't bode well for players on FIFA. That usually sees their ratings tank. But because he had a good season, I've left him as he is. A player actually going down in rating on that is Moreno. He goes down by 2 for me. I think, if you could change, if I was going to change his stats, that defensive stat would be dropped by about 20, just because he just can't defend. I honestly think this guy would be better as a winger. He's got pace. He can hit a shot. To be fair to him, although he's a left back, but he can hit a decent shot. I just think he's just terrible as a left back, and that's rarely shown in the final of the Europa League when he got absolutely tore to bits on that left side. I know he didn't get any support really, and he never does with Coutinho, which doesn't really help. But in terms of his defending, it's just non-existent. So that's why he's got a downgrade of 2. Moving on to Lallana, he gets an upgrade of 2 for me personally, because I think playing on that right-hand side has really suited them. Working under Klopp must be like an absolute dream for Lallana. Although he must be absolutely done in after every game, it's really suited him. He works hard, he gets involved, he gets stuck in, and he sets up a lot of play. Although I don't think he doesn't get assists and goals like he should, but I think he starts a lot of attacks just by winning, winning tackles, getting involved, chasing players down. It really does set the tempo, and he's such a key player, I think, for Liverpool at the moment. He's done well for England as well I almost said against France. In France as well. In the first game against Russia, him and Kyle Walker looked extremely good on that right-hand side. So that's why he's going to upgrade it to. Moving on to Henderson, he gets an upgrade of just 1. Obviously, his cards change from a non-rare to a rare card as well. Rare card? What? Rare card as well. He goes from a 79 to 80 and also a non-rare to a rare. Moving on to Emre Can now. This one I've gone a bit crazy with because Emre Can is my favourite player. I think he is absolutely fantastic for Liverpool. His card has gone from a 75, I think he's got, to an 84. That's how much I think he's fantastic. I'm probably going a bit over the top, guys. You can put that in the comments. I'm guessing I am. He's obviously going to get an upgrade. He's been absolutely fantastic for Liverpool, being the key guy in midfield. And that's shown when he was actually missing for one of the Europa League games and we really struggled. He is just so good as a player for us in that centre mid role, and I honestly think he could dominate that role for a long time. 84 is probably being a bit too generous now thinking about it. Probably 81, 82 might have been better, but I went for it. What can I say? I'm sorry. Moving on to Coutinho, obviously I've left him as his international man of the match card here. I've put him up to an 85, and the reason being is just because he is that marquee player that Liverpool have at the moment. And I think he deserves to be the best rated player on FIFA for them, whether regardless of whether he leaves or not. I think he deserves that. So I've put him as an 85. It's only a grade or 2. I think he was an 82 or 83. So it's not too much to push on for him. Obviously, he's a left mid card there. He plays pretty much left mid the whole season, so that is why he is on there. Daniel Sturridge doesn't get an upgrade. He just didn't play enough to get an upgrade. I think he's got that real star quality, and if he played the whole season, he probably would have got an upgrade or two. Might have gone up by 1 or 2. But his injury record just meant that he couldn't get an upgrade. I don't think he was worthy of downgrade either. I think he played enough games to warrant staying on that level. Next up is Origi. Obviously, he has gone up by 5 for me. He's pretty much the starting player for Liverpool in attack. He pretty much kept Sturridge out of the team at times. And I think he's done really well for the team. Again, I mentioned it before with Lovren. I think Klopp gave him that confidence to go on and be the better player for Liverpool. Obviously, this season before, don't forget, he got voted into the worst team of League One. I know that was playing on the wings, so it's probably a bit harsh, and he was only just coming through, but he's got better and better and better as time goes on. If you watched him in the semi-final of the Europa League, he was bullying defenders, he was using his pace, done against Dortmund, obviously, to grab his goal, and I think he deserves an upgrade. Again, might be a bit biased being a Liverpool fan, but I've tried to keep it as unbiased as possible. Next up is Mignolet. He played all season for Liverpool, so I really don't like him as a goalkeeper, but that warrants him to stay at his rating. He doesn't deserve an upgrade because he was awful, but I think that warrants him to stay at his rating. If anything, it would have been a downgrade, but we've kept him as is. 78 rating for him. Danny Ward, next up. His card is actually a 58 bronze card on FIFA 16 at the moment. I've changed his card to a silver 70. He's just played for Wales in goal. Now, I know FIFA is pretty much coming out anyway before this, but that should warrant it anyway. He's played a few games for Liverpool, got involved when, Mignolet was having a bit of a bad spell and I think he got injured as well. So Danny Ward stepped in, did all right towards the end of the season as well, and obviously, as I say, got into the Wales squad and has played in goal recently, so that's why he has gone up. Another player who has shot up, and that is Joe Gomez. Obviously, started as a bronze 64 card. Now, at the start of the season, Joe Gomez was actually playing for Liverpool. I think he played left back, and I can see him as being a future centre back for the club. He is immense when he played. Obviously, 1997, that makes him 19, I think now, and his card's gone up to about a 73. Obviously, we see him at Bellerin when he was at Arsenal, and he was just breaking into the team. He ended up getting a silver card because it was the same scenario. He kind of broke into the team like part of the season. I think that'll be the same with Joe Gomez, who may, depending on if he plays next season, may get a higher upgrade. I'd probably be sent out on loan. Next up is Martin Scale. He gets a downgrade because, for me, he's been absolutely diabolical recently. A player I did like, but he just seems to get worse and worse every time I see him play. If you've seen the Wales game, you will have seen how bad he was defending. He pretty much throwing his elbows about, get away with fouls. He will leave Liverpool for I believe it's a Turkish club he will end up at. And I think he'll take a downgrade with him as well. A player I think stays on the same, and that is James Milner. Has a fantastic season for Liverpool. Cannot, say how good his impact was. Obviously, he's a Klopp type of player, works really hard, but he is 30 as well. That is the issue, and I think that's why he won't get an upgrade. I don't think his card will change that much at all, and I think he'll stay like that until he eventually starts getting downgrades when he gets a bit older. Next up is Lucas Leiva. He also stays the same. His card doesn't change, mainly because I think he's actually a good player, and as a centre defensive mid, he is probably one of the best at breaking up play. Gets fouls in, gets tackles in, you name it, he does it. Obviously, he didn't feature that much. Featured at the start, did quite well. Featured under Klopp in 1 or 2 games and did really well. So I've kept him at the same. Probably may have gone down to a 75, though. Player that does get a downgrade is Joe Allen. I think he was 77, so I've took him down by 2 ratings just because he doesn't play that much for Liverpool. And when he does, I'm not lit a light. I'm not like, wow, what a performance, like I am with Lucas when he plays sometimes. Really gets involved. Joe Allen's just a bit part player for me, and that's why he's got a 2 rating downgrade. Jordan Ibe gets a upgrade just because obviously he was a silver card. I think he's worthy of going to a gold. He's a player with raw potential. Obviously, if you've watched my transfer news videos, he's apparently getting offered in the deal with Mane, which I don't want. I'd rather just pay cash if we were going to go for Mane. And Ibe is apparently offered in the deal. We put him up to a 76 from a 72 silver, I think he was. Next up is Christian Benteke, a player that gets a big downgrade. He was at 81. We pushed him down to a 79. Obviously, again, don't forget the ratings aren't changed at all in terms of the stats, so it's just a 2 downgrade on this one. Obviously, not a Liverpool type of player. I think he could potentially get an upgrade again if he moves to a team that suits his style of play, basically. He was a big man in Aston Villa. I think he needs to be, the biggest, best striker in the team that he goes to next. Next up is Firmino. He gets a upgrade of 2. He was an 81 and has now moved to an 83 for me, personally. He had a good season for Liverpool. To have that many assists and goals in his first season in a new league is very good, and I think he deserves that upgrade for me. Second to last is Danny Ings. He gets a small upgrade. I think he was at 76, and he's gone. I put him up to 77. Just because he had promise when he was playing. He started to get involved a lot before he got injured. So again, probably one that is a little bit biased, but I just feel like I actually felt bad for Danny Ings when he got injured. And then finally, Mario Balotelli. I have taken him down by 6 just because he is absolutely useless. That is pretty much it, guys. He wants to do whatever he wants to do, and he just can't do that at Liverpool. I think he will leave in the summer. I think Klopp will turn around and say, listen, you're not wanted here. And I say he's got a heavy downgrade. Obviously, his stats haven't changed. His stats in game and the way he plays in game is absolutely incredible. But, guys, if you did enjoy this, I will be doing it for every team in the Premier League. So far, I've started with Liverpool because that is the team I support. Again, sorry if you think these ratings are biased. I think in terms of the actual upgrades and downgrades, I think I've got that right for each player. By how much, is another thing. I might have gone a bit too far with the other one. But if you did enjoy, as always, like and subscribe. That would mean a huge amount to me. And I shall see you in the next one, guys.